Hey pre-calc students, today's video is going to be a short example on using half-angle identities. So here we go. First we're given if sine theta is -7/25 and theta is between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi, find cosine of theta over 2. Okay, so for this one, the first thing we want to do is draw the triangle in the appropriate quadrant so that I can figure out what cosine of theta is. So 3 pi over 2 to 2 pi is going to be the fourth quadrant. And sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so -7 and 25 go right there. And so then to find the missing side so that we can figure out what cosine is, since the half-angle identities rely heavily on cosine, we're going to need to either use the Pythagorean theorem, so a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or you could notice that this is the Pythagorean triple, 7, 24, 25. Either way, you should get that this missing side is 24. So let's see. To find cosine of theta over 2, we're going to use the formula. Cosine theta over 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine theta over 2. Okay, and so the plus or minus comes from the quadrant that the angle theta over 2 is going to be in. So if the original angle was between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi, that tells you that the new angle is going to be somewhere between 3 pi over 4 and pi. So it's going to be somewhere in the second quadrant. So if it's going to be in the second quadrant and we're looking for cosine, that's going to tell us that our answer is going to be the negative square root, not the positive square root. So for this particular one, we're going to use the negative square root, because cosine and x values in general are negative in the second quadrant. So now all we have to do is plug in cosine of theta, and cosine of theta just happens to be 24/25. So we get 1 plus 24/25 over 2, which, let's see, 1 plus 24/25 is 49/25. And then divided by 2, that gives us 49/50. And so then if I give the square root to the top and the bottom, we get 7 over the square root of 50, but we can't leave it like that. And also the square root of 50 simplifies to 5√2. So this is really -7 over 5√2. But then I have to multiply by the square root of 2 on the top and the bottom to get rid of the radical on the bottom. So we get -7√2 over 5 times 2 is 10. So -7√2 over 10 would be the completely simplified answer. Now, some people will care about how far you simplify the answer. I don't always care about how far it gets simplified or if you have a square root on the bottom and stuff like that, but some people do and some books do. So make sure that you fully simplify if that's what's expected from your teacher or from whatever program it is that you're using to practice math. All right, hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or send me an email. Have a good one.